Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here again. I know you've now come to expect to have some great guests, and you're right. We have a great guest for you, Dr. Michael Harris. Welcome, sir.
How you doing, sir?
I am great. Yeah, so the doctor, I heard before we hit record here, what's your doctorate in?
It's in clinical hypnotherapy.
Look at that. So we got a doctor specializes in clinical hypnotherapy. And sir, when did you get your start in hypnosis? I know you've been doing it for a while.
A couple of thousand years.
Nice.
I got my start in NLP actually.
Oh, okay.
Long time. I was in my 20s and I was working for a company that they did heavy construction. And it was like a real interesting organization, because you've got salesmen and you've got CEOs and you've got and draftsmen and architects and all this stuff. And then when it comes to installation, you've got rank and file. So you have skilled craftsmen,
Mhm.
okay, and then you move on down to the next, like where you have apprentices and you also have helpers. And it's interesting that one of the highest paying non-skilled jobs is a helper,
Mm.
particularly if it's a union helper. You don't have to have a college or you don't have to have a high school degree. You can be an ex-felon. You can be
Mm.
like a veteran and receive enough money to make a living for you and
Mm.
your family. And the thing that was interesting was this vast disparity of communication.
Mm.
Because you've got people up here, they're in the business of making money.
Right.
You got people down here, they're in the business of getting paid by the hour. Fast does not mean good. Up here, fast means more money for the company. And
Right.
so there was a disparity. And there I am, I'm reading, and I don't know where you are in the US, but in the Fort Worth area, there's a thing called the green sheet.
Mm.
Okay, this was like I said, thousands of years
Yeah.
pre-internet.
I
Yeah,
think like
okay,
Fred Flintstone, you saw him, he worked at a construction site. And so I'm imagining that when you're talking, construction.
we were a little bit past the brontosaurus, but
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm reading this thing. It's called the green sheet, and in the back of the green sheet, they have these classified stuff, and I see this ad for a communication class.
Mm.
I'm like, huh. So I go to the Friday night gig. Of course, it's free, and they do their sales pitch.
Hmm.
And I'm like, that sounds really interesting. So I actually called my owner of this company because we used to live down the street from one another when I lived in Louisiana. And I called him and I said, hey, I want to go to this communication class. If I pay for it, will you guys reimburse me? He's like, sure.
All right.
Yeah. And it was easy to get into, and all this other stuff. And it was a weekend course. And from that point forward, I was
Mm.
hooked.
Mm.
It was, it was, it was like somebody pulled the curtain back on language.
Right.
And it was just like from that point forward, you just can't unhear language.
Mm.
All right. Now, what was interesting, it doesn't happen anymore. They've kind of fixed it. But when I was going through NLP training, they were always going blah 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 blah, just like hypnosis. But you don't really need hypnosis to do
Mm.
this. La 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 la, just like hypnosis. But it never, but it never set with me how. Okay.
Right.
And so I did what I did, and I told you that I used to own a personal training company, and uh, I taught my clients how to set goals, and I taught the trainers that work for me how to work within the confines of the client's goals, and all of a sudden everybody was successful until I got bored.
Yeah.
And I never got bored with the work. I got bored with managing people. Okay.
Mm.
The best analogy that I can use for having a company where you have 17 personal trainers is imagine just for a moment that you're at a party and there's 17 lead singers from 17 bands,
Right.
okay? And you've just run out of cocaine.
Bummer.
Bummer.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it was like. And I was just like, I was over that. So I sold my business, played golf for a year, figured out I didn't
Nice.
want to play golf every day for a year. And a buddy of mine, his name's Dr. Mike. And this guy has absolutely made a fortune doing stop smoking only. That's all he
Mm,
ever
mm.
does. He's got a like your genuine mommy minivan, and it's got a little wrap on it, and it says, if you want to start, if you want to smoke, that's your business. If you want to stop, that's my business. And this guy made a fortune.
Mm. Oh, that's brilliant.
And
Yeah.
and he told me about a guy by the name of Bruce Kowalski
Mm,
who had a small online or a small university in Huntington Beach, and I called him up and said, "Hey, I'm interested in this. How much is it?" And they gave me a price, and I said, "Here's what I'll do. How much if I write you a check?" And they're like, "We're going to have to get back to you."
Yeah.
And they called me back and they gave me a price which was infinitely cheaper than what they were originally charging for a master's and
Mm,
PhD program. And I wrote
yeah.
them a check. And for the next two, 3.5 years, I went to California every semester for three
Mm,
weeks because
mm,
that was the law. You had to
mm.
be, in order to be a resident, you had to be there for 3 weeks.
Okay.
And then you go back and you back and forth and back and forth. And then it took me another like a year and a half uh to write my dissertation. And that in itself was one of those really interesting things because I remember, by this time I had sold my furniture, so all this because I didn't have a job.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sitting in my crappy apartment, the one where
Mm,
like the train that goes by every morning at 4 a.m. is like
yep.
150 feet from my front door.
Right.
Okay.
I'm
And I'm
imagining
like,
so no money or no job, and then was you? I see your wedding ring. Was your wife around by then? I
I
imagine.
was I was I was single at the
Yes,
time.
single, free of a job, free of
Absolutely.
yeah, and
And
just can dive in.
yeah, so I'm sitting in one of my lawn chairs, that you would have out by the pool because I've sold all my furniture to
Right.
do this stuff. And I remember making that decision. And if you know anything about NLP or if you've ever done a threshold technique
Mm,
with somebody, it was like right here. It's like,
right.
okay, I
You
can
were
either
there.
finish this or I can go get a job
Yep.
because both aren't going to happen. Pick one. So
Mm.
I finished my dissertation, and here we are today.
Well, I'm curious. What was your dissertation about?
Sleepnosis.
Mm.
They did a study in the 50s. Actually, that was my second dissertation. My first dissertation, they called me back and it was my first dissertation. I wanted to do the grammatical syntax of prayer
Mm.
because prayer in its original format is more along the lines of what is currently popular in terms of affirmations. You want a new car, so it's like, thank you very much for
Mm.
my new car. I love the seats. It drives like a charm, and you're waiting for the universe to deliver it.
Mm.
Okay. And that's how the original language was. And now the language is kind of like, you're the boss babe and you're waiting for somebody to deliver. It's like, hey, let's go, hurry up.
Mm.
And they started that. And because I needed translations from Aramaic and Greek and all this stuff,
Mm.
they asked me to pick something else.
Okay. That's fair. And b before we get to that something else, I'm curious, which is more effective as far as prayer, manifestation? Is it that visualization or is it that I demand this? That's what I feel when you said those two options. Which is more
Okay.
effective for manifesting or creating?
You're gonna love this answer.
Mm.
The answer is yes. Okay.
Yeah,
What makes manifestation work, whether it's eyes open or whether it's in trance and you're doing, massive change work, is it can't be a conversation with my head and your head. Your physiology has to be involved.
mm,
Okay, so when I'm working with people, they're not sitting there, they're moving their hands, they're doing up. And when when you put somebody in trance and you bring them back out, let's say that you're conditioning them for trance, I always go, okay, stop, stand up, turn around, sit back down, tell me the name of your favorite dog when you were 5 years old, and stuff,
yeah,
to do a pattern interrupt. But I want your physiology involved.
mm,
Otherwise, it's just a wish.
right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And the way I was thinking of it is how our bodies encode emotions. And
Mm-hmm.
so by getting your body involved in the manifestation, like I can see where that'd be effective. Like you use a car as an example. You can like use your body and like feel the
Mm-hmm.
steering wheel and
Right.
like you can imagine it
Okay.
and move your body.
Are you familiar with a lady by the name of Donna Markova?
No.
Donna Markova was one of Erickson's last students, and she wrote a book called
Mm,
The Open Mind.
mm.
That you don't need to write it down. I'll send you an audio.
Okay, cool. And for the
Yeah,
listeners, I could put a link down
yeah,
below. And of course,
yeah.
we'll have a link to get in touch with you, Doctor.
Sure. Anyway, Donna Markova, in her first book, she wrote it called The Open Mind, and she tells a story about she used to work at like a PS school in New York.
Mm,
Okay, and she was working on doing her stuff, and she was working on her dissertation. I don't know if it was master's or doctorate, and they gave her this kid, and this kid. He was trouble. He was like
mm,
big trouble. He was bigger than
mhm.
everybody else and
Yeah,
and real physical. And
yeah.
she discovered that he played chess.
Mm,
And this is in the book. And like so she wanted to like check him out, and so she like asked him to play a game of chess. No, he didn't sit down to play chess. He stood up. He stalked the
mm,
chessboard, and that was when she first understood. And I'm going to get back to your original question. First understood that not everybody processes visual, auditory, kinesthetic. There's
mm,
6 different combinations. So getting back to your what's the best way to manifest? The best way to manifest is to begin with the sequence that serves you best.
mm,
Okay. And the way that you find that out is go, hey, Ryan, tell me about something that you wanted to do, and boom, it just came together for you. Okay.
mm,
You're going to respond either visually first, auditorily first,
mhm,
kinesthetic
mm,
first. Then the next thing that you're going to say is either visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. And then the third thing, or more importantly, the left out thing is the third channel. So
mm,
the difference between Joe Bob and Betty Lou and somebody gets what they want and somebody
mm,
just dreams a lot is that they have an incomplete sequence and and whatever order it is in. But I feel that it's our job to help them to complete the sequence.
mm. Yeah, I love that. It,
Everybody is successful. They just may have forgot that they may have so much stuff going on that they forgot they grew up, or they
mm,
forgot that they went to college, or they forgot that they were
right,
happily married for 25 years.
right.
Okay. because they're only focusing on this. So our job is to help remind them that they already have all of the tools that they need in order to create the life that they've always wanted.
Mm,
It just may be out of order.
mm. I like
Okay.
how you bring out the past success. I like that question a lot because
Sure.
I can imagine when they recall it, then their body and their breath, everything is telling
Yeah.
you to sequence. So that's
Yeah.
that's really brilliant.
Yeah. If you have somebody, and I'm just using you for an example. So Ryan, tell me about something that you're really proud of.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going to pause and you're either going to make a picture of it, you're going to talk to yourself about it, or you're going to look down and you're going to access your feeling. And then I'm going to go, great, step into that for a second.
Mm,
Breathe it in. Now tell me
yeah.
all about
Mm,
it. And I'm gonna lean in and I'm gonna pay attention to every single solitary predicate that you
mm,
use. And then I'm gonna feed it back to you.
yeah. I love how you do that with your other books. So you have those two books, Forbidden Hypnosis and then the other one with the nonverbals. And
hmm
that's really powerful. I feel like that was Erickson's secret weapon because he was there, the master calibrator himself. And
Well, interestingly enough, there actually are five books.
mm.
Okay. You've got two of them.
Yeah, I saw the workbooks and what else? There's
There are two other
okay,
books. One of them is called Ericksonian Alchemy.
okay.
Okay. And put your hand up like this. Okay, I'll send it to you. All right. And the other one is called The Lost Secrets of NLP.
Mm.
And that is a book on presuppositions. And did you take NLP training or is it just
Yeah,
hypnosis?
I've taken it, and the more I take, the more I realize I don't know.
Okay.
It's like
So
it's like a rabbit hole that just keeps digging, 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 digging.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So in NLP training, even in the masters, they go, oh yeah, there's these things called presuppositions. Here's a worksheet.
yeah.
Okay. I have an entire book and an entire 8-week training program on presuppositions.
Okay, great. I'm raising my hand again.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I love that the
and when
presuppositions.
I
It's
was and when I was writing Lost Secrets, my brain just it would not shut off.
mm,
So consequently, I wrote four other companion books that are different genres of presuppositions. There's one for attorneys. Okay.
oh,
There's
okay.
there's a free one, and when you post this link and stuff, remind me, and I'll give you the link. It's
Hmm.
one of my giveaway books called Hidden Agenda. So
Mm,
that this would be for anybody who wants to watch the news, anybody who wants to pay attention to whatever, and I don't care what your political affiliation is.
hmm.
Hidden Agenda will teach you how the presupposition, particularly in the news, that they presuppose a topic and then they either verify it or cover it up, and it shows you exactly how that works. And then
Right.
the other two is one of them is on John Grinder and how he uses presupposition in business.
Mm,
And then the fourth one is one on Bandler and Bandler's presuppositions called subliminal
mm,
alchemy. Because like once you understand how presuppositions work, when you listen, yeah, if you've ever listened to Bandler
hmm.
audios or even Erickson audios, once you have that in your head, you can't not hear
Mm,
what they're doing. Now, why that is important for a hypnotist, a change worker, an NLP thing is you really need to be able to hear what your client, what your patient is saying, and specifically what they're not saying.
right. Right.
Because because I have done, and if you see, I don't know if you see clients or not.
I
Do
do.
you?
Yeah.
Okay. So how many times does somebody come in and they bring you something, okay?
Right.
And you know you can fix it. They know you can fix it, and
Mhm.
it's like zip zop. Then they go,
Right.
here's what I really wanted to work on.
Yeah, there's always something else. Like it's
Yeah,
never I've never had a single incident with a client where it starts with whether they fill out a form or they message me and it's like, okay, I know that's not what they're coming for.
right.
Right? Yeah, we can knock that out, sure. What's really the driver here?
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
curious if we can rewind just a little bit. You mentioned about the lost things. Yeah, you're doing the hand motions for those listening. He's rewinding, just like in Hamilton where they did that little scene where they rewound. I'm wondering about the NLP where you said the lost parts of NLP.
the
What
lost secrets of NLP.
the lost secrets and
Yes.
what
Okay.
does that mean?
Well, Bandler and Grinder did not create presuppositions. They borrowed them.
Mm.
Okay. And because because there's so many, do you ever read L. Michael Hall?
It's been a hot minute, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like reading stereo instructions. He's a great guy. Yeah, oh, and by the way, he answers his phone. If you call him, he answers his own phone. It's awesome.
That
Okay.
is fun, yeah.
But L. Michael Hall is one of those people who will go, what else? What else? What else? What else?
Mm,
So if you're talking about sleight of mouth patterns,
right.
Robert Dilts, I actually trained with him. He's cool. Uh,
Yeah, I saw that you trained with them in your book, and then also then like you're talking about reading a book. Dilts is lovely and expansive. So then I went to the Doug
stereo
O'Brien.
instructions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I went to the
Okay.
Doug O'Brien
So
sleight of mouth. Yeah.
he created 18 sleight of mouth patterns. Uh, uh, Steve Andreas, Connor Anja, they added, I guess it was 17. So they added two more. Okay.
Okay.
Well, Michael Hall has cranked them out till there's like 149
Oh my
preset.
goodness.
Yeah, it's sleight of mouth patterns. Okay. So in these presuppositions, when Bandler and Grinder were doing, they wanted therapeutic.
Mm,
So they parsed out which presuppositions would work in this context.
right.
And so I wrote a book that talks about other other presuppositions and other usages
Mm,
for presuppositions because hey, did you know that not everybody wants to be a hypnotist? I know that for
right.
me.
Yeah, and then that's what makes me think that you've done that, and it reflects in your work because you work with athletes as well as C-suite folks, neither of
Uh-huh.
which are client facing, and yet they have
Yeah.
their own type of, world that NLP can benefit from.
Mhm. Absolutely. Thousands of years ago, had still had hair then. I used to work with USA Gymnastics Junior. So
Mm.
I worked with kids all the way up through them going to college.
And how did NLP come into effect? Were you modeling other successful athletes?
Yes, and I was working with gymnastic coaches and
Hmm.
working with gymnastic parents is
Mm.
how I actually got good at conversational hypnosis
Hmm. So
because kids are awesome.
they are.
You can
Yeah.
you can talk to them for 15 minutes and go,
Yep.
here, this is what I want you to do. And they're like, okay, and off they
Yeah.
go, and they're fine.
Hmm.
The only reason they get scared is because they modeled being scared from somebody else.
Right.
Okay. The only reason that a child, and I say child, they're 14 to 18, would the only way that they would ever know that they weren't perfect is if somebody told them or somebody modeled them or somebody guilted them or shamed them and stuff. And that stuff is pretty easy to clear up.
Mm,
Okay. So I'd work with a kid and I always set aside 2 hours. So I'd work with a kid. And then, of course, I have to do a debrief with the parent and, probably the coach. And I live in Texas, so sometimes I had to do a debrief with the pastor.
right,
And
right.
I've actually had pastors sit in on the sessions. It's like, okay, no problem. I don't care.
Yep.
And conversationally undoing what they're doing to the kid. And
Right.
and, and my favorite story is a gymnast. We will call her Samantha. And she was at the number one gymnastics facility in the Dallas Metroplex.
Hmm.
And yeah, I want to make sure that I don't reveal anyway, she was having trouble. So much so that when I met her, she was competing in one of the four events, tapping out on the other three. That's how
Mm,
demolished she was. And I worked with her and she did okay. And we sent her back to the gym. And it was the coach that was demolishing the
mm.
girls. Okay. And
Yeah.
I- and I told mom, I said, I can't uninstall faster than I get to see her an hour a week and he's got her 35 hours a week. When she
Right.
changes, if she ever changes gyms, let me know. Okay. That
Plus, he
is
had the
that,
prestige because he had the whistle hanging from his neck, and like, I
exactly
am the coach. This
right.
guy's.
So the following
Yeah.
season, they changed gyms.
Okay.
And I work with her a couple of times. And then one day she comes in, it's just before the season begins, and she goes, I want to set a goal. I'm like, cool. It's what we do.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, but I don't want to tell you what it is. Okay. I don't know about you, but I do content free
Yep.
session. I don't have to know a thing.
Sure.
Okay. So I gave her all of the tools, and she's over there writing, with
Mm.
with with the cone of silence around her and all that other
Yep.
stuff. And we go through it. I go, and I do a well-formed outcome slightly differently than most people. And let's do this, Ryan. Let's feel
Yeah.
this. So,
Yeah.
so, so when you go, okay, so what do you want, Ryan? Okay. And you're going to tell me what you want. Your energy comes up.
Yep.
Okay. When do you
Yep.
want that? You know, your energy
Mm.
comes up. How will you know when you have it? Your energy
Mm.
comes up. Okay. My fourth question is, does this align with your core values?
Mm. I love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
The old NLP method was, is there anything for preventing you from having this now? Oh, all of the energy you
Yep.
spent three steps up and then you just fell all. Now you have to rebuild the person.
Yep.
And that fourth question is actually more easily handled in the ecology check. So you do, what do you want? When do you want it? How will you know when you get it? It is in alignment with my core values. If it's not in alignment with their core values, you modify the plan. You don't modify the goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I was going to ask about the goals. And then another question kind of snuck up in my head is
Okay.
what happens when those old limiting beliefs start knocking at the door? You have those four incredible questions and they put
Hmm.
into the state of I can do this. And then that
Hmm.
little whisper from the
Hmm.
past or wherever says
It's
whatever,
it's
no.
it's more likely an identity issue, but yeah,
Mhm.
I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't
So,
know if you give them tools to be like, here's how to shut that little lying voice up with the
well,
limiting beliefs.
the next thing that I do is an ecology check. Okay.
Hmm.
And the ecology check is, What will happen if I do this? Second question, what won't happen if I do this?
I see. Yeah. What won't
And then the
happen if I
third
do this?
question is, what will happen if I don't do this? And then the fourth question is my favorite little brain buster. What won't happen if I don't do this?
Yeah.
And that is a way of of making them do an interesting, different type of TD searches to ferret out. Is it a belief issue? Is it a values issue? Or is it an identity issue? And identity
Mm,
issues can be really simple. Maybe your third grade teacher at the end of a test, said, maybe you're just not good at math. Okay.
mm,
Well, little kids are taught from this tall, adults, you have to obey. Okay. I don't
hmm.
know about you, but when I turned 21, nobody came and said, okay, you remember all that stuff, that we told you when you're adult here? Let me tear
Right.
that all up and
Right.
toss, and now you get to think for yourself.
Right.
Okay. The other thing that I found real interesting when I was working with gymnasts, and I'm currently working with somebody who she'll remain nameless, but later when she's in the WNBA, I'll let you. And then I've got another one who, like, he's amazing. He has been doing uh fencing,
Mm,
okay, for 4 years. That's all. And he's already at a national level.
mm.
Yeah, that kind of those things are fun. Those are fun to work with.
What do you do with a person that doesn't know what they want? Maybe they're trying to figure out what their identity really is.
Well, couple of ways to do that. One of them, almost everybody knows what they want. They just don't
Mm,
may or may not feel safe telling you.
right.
Okay. Another way of doing that takes a little bit longer. You might have to get an extra cup of coffee. Is you go, okay, tell me all the stuff you don't want.
Mm,
Okay. And they'll give you, I don't want this, I don't want that one, don't do, you go, great. What's the opposite of that?
right.
And that'll help them discover. I haven't had very many of those. One of the things I'm kind of proud of is in my career doing hypnosis, I've had 5 people come into my office, not at the same time. Okay. But and they'll reach in their pocket or reach in their purse and they'll pull out this crinkled, folded piece of paper
Mm,
that had all of their goals and they're all
mm,
crossed off. And they'll go, I did all of that.
yeah.
I got this, I got that, I got the house, I got the cabin, I got the boat, and la 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 la. All the kids are in
Yep.
school. Now what?
Mm, right.
And they're fun. They're literally what you're talking about, where they don't know what to do next.
Yeah. And that's fun. If we talk about goals, like it's funny how serendipitous is. I was just talking to my wife about goals. Like the example she gave is she wants to be in the NFL. Maybe that's
Okay?
not reasonable, and yet people break, like the 5 minute mile. People thought that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't possible until someone did it. And then
4 minute mile. Uh-huh.
the 4 minute mile, yeah.
Yeah.
And then people with you talk about gymnasts and they want to go to the Olympics. Maybe their goal is to win a gold medal.
Mm-hmm.
And yet not everyone can win a gold medal. So how do we
Correct.
keep hope alive when it might not turn out?
Well, and actually that is a tough question. Okay. Um, if if I had somebody come in and they're 5 foot tall and they weigh 350 pounds and they want to play in the NBA, okay, I'm probably going to ask them, okay, so I hope you do this and you make it into the NBA. Do you know how long the average NBA player plays? Okay. And I'll have
Hmm.
looked that up. I think it's 4 to 5 years. Okay.
Mm,
So I want to know after you accomplish this. So now I'm doing Erickson's ordinal numbers.
mm,
What's the third thing you're going to do?
mm.
Because have you ever had a client come in and they come in, they've got this goal, they want it in this way, and
Yeah.
and blah blah blah, and in the middle of it, they shift over to here.
I mean, that's me too.
Okay. Well, I think I see people, they've got this, 100%, 120% success rate.
Mm,
Okay. James Tripp, who is one of my mentors, I really like the way that he said he has a satisfaction rating.
mm,
How satisfied or is your client with their results? They can
mm.
change, they can change and move around 855 times if they're satisfied with their results.
Right.
Okay. If if you do it, set it up in a binary or digital pass, fail, win,
Mm,
lose. That I think that that's a really bad idea to set people up for that.
right. Unless you're
When it
like
comes
in
to
yeah, like
when it
pain
comes to your
management, you can measure those numbers a little easier.
sure.
When you're talking about setting goals, I like that, the satisfaction, or even when doing stand-up comedy, I just want people to leave feeling better. I feel that that's half the battle, is they feel better than when they came in.
And do they know what to do in the outside world?
Right, right.
Okay. Like and I don't know how you do hypnosis and stuff like that, but do you work with hypnotic phenomena?
Yeah, and lately I've been dealing with idiomotor signals. I find those extremely fascinating.
I love you and I can like hang out. Idiomotor signaling is like the best kept secret on
Yeah.
the and particularly I'm hoping hypnotists are listening to this. If you're not doing your own personal work on a regular or daily basis and stuff like that, you're making a huge error.
Mm,
Okay. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to set up yes, no signals
mm,
and, oh, I want to work on this. Okay, let me check my yes, no signals. If the answer is yes, yeah, great. If the answer
mm,
is no, if the answer is yes, okay, let's work on that.
mm.
Okay, really, really simple stuff. But let me throw an interesting idea out there to you. Have you ever thought about hypnotic phenomena? And they proved it. I think Grinder proved it that there wasn't one single hypnotic phenomena that they couldn't repeat in a waking state.
Oh, yeah, interesting. And you see it with
Okay,
stage hypnosis all the time too.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you got somebody coming into your office with, XYZ malady,
Hmm.
what hypnotic phenomena is similar to that? Okay. Somebody comes in with anxiety, they are doing that, they're projecting out into the future, imagine, doing negative hallucination and then coming back and then acting like it's real. Okay.
Right, right,
So one of the easiest ways to do that is put them into trance and teach them how to do negative hallucination, then bring them out of trance, teach them how to consciously do negative hallucination because we do it all the time. Hey, do you
right.
talk to yourself? Do you ever answer? All this other stuff.
Yeah.
And that way that when they recognize when they're doing their thing, whatever their thing is, and we were talking about anxiety, they go, oh, this is a negative hallucination. I know.
Mm.
That ball-headed guy, he taught me how to do that. I'll just make up
Right.
a new one that makes me feel better.
Mm. Yeah, and then the trick there then is to teach them how to be aware. Like,
Mhm.
do you do it like with mindfulness exercises, or what do you do there?
I did not get an opportunity to meet Dave Dobson.
Mm.
Okay. But
I love your stories about Dave and your books, by the way. You have some great Dave Dobson stories.
I got some great videos of Dave Dobson. He's a crack up. He is
Nice.
just so inappropriate. I love that guy. Okay. And and but my mentor trained with him.
Mm.
So I got cool stories that nobody
Yeah,
had.
yeah.
And uh just I lost my train of thought. Dang it. What were
We're
we
talking
talking
about
about?
the being aware. So, like your
Oh,
client
okay.
is doing
Yes.
these negative hallucinations, and then the point is to be able to be aware that they're doing that, so then they can implement the
Right.
positive ones that you taught them.
So I remembered what I was going to say. Dave Dobson is the person who coined the term dehypnotize
Right, right.
because everybody, including you and I,
Hmm.
are in trance at all times.
Right.
Is it the trance you want to be in?
Mm.
And if it is, great, share it with the world. And if it's not the trance you want to be in, change it.
And for those listening, what is trance?
Tran Now we have to like go all the way back to the original word of hypnosis.
All right, yeah, I'll do the
Okay.
rewind effect now.
Yeah. Okay. When they first started actively doing hypnosis, people appeared to be asleep,
Hmm.
but they're not.
Hmm.
Okay. And so the James Braid, who originally coined the term hypnosis, later in life said, "I really wish that I had called it mono, what do you call it? It's about drawing your attention down to a single point,
Mm.
and it'll come
That
and
single
it'll come
leaf,
back.
that single focused point of attention.
Correct. So have you noticed that when you're talking to somebody, like let's say that you and I were going to lunch and we'd start out and we'd be sitting up and there'd be people around us and all of that stuff. Over a period of time, everybody around us would disappear.
Hmm.
We would lean in and we would begin doing to like
Yeah.
literally you and me at a table like in space because
Right.
everything.
Yeah, that's what I like about Gurdjieff, how he taught in coffee shops and he
Uh-huh.
forced his students to like lean in, like you say, and he taught quietly. So everyone else was
Mhm.
talking, the click clatter, and he's just softly giving his instruction, and everyone's like forced
Mhm.
to do that single point of attention thing.
Yes. So, where do you want to go from here? I just,
Yeah. So we have the client, they're in the trance. You teach them how to dehypnotize.
uh-huh.
And I'm wondering, I have a big question for you, and the T-ball question is for those that are want to get into NLP and hypnosis, what's your
Hmm.
advice to them if they want to do this as like a business to start helping clients to see clients?
They're gonna need training,
Mm,
okay? And it's expensive.
mm,
I having said that, both Dave Dobson and Milton Erickson were self-taught.
mm.
I got a buddy of mine who he takes my classes now, but when I met him, he'd been doing hypnosis that he learned off of watching YouTubes for almost 8 years.
Mm,
Uh, the very best primer book that you could possibly buy, and it's in Kindle, is called The Complete Idiot's Guide to Hypnosis. And it has a pre-talk, it has
Mm,
trance induction, it has deepening exercises, it has simple change work. It's got post-hypnotic suggestion and ring out. And literally, if you went all the way through that, you would have the basics of most hypnosis
mm,
trainings. I mean, my very
yeah.
first, well, I told you that I had a gym and I sold my gym. Pardon me. And I had always been interested in hypnosis. So I found a class, and it was my guy, Dr. Mike. He did a
Mm,
weekend class,
mm,
and I mean it was, you know, it started at 7 o'clock on Friday night. We went until after midnight. Saturday it was all day and then
mm,
till midnight. And then on Sunday it was all day, and then we took a test. And boom, you were certified with the American Board of
mm,
Clinical Hypnosis. Okay. But he said something really interesting is he said, you know, like, I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you had an interest. He goes, but I can tell you something ever so slightly disheartening. Only, and there was like, I don't know, 20, 25 people in that class. He goes, only one or two of you will still be doing hypnosis 2 years from now.
mm.
And I don't know about you, but I love it when people tell me I can't do stuff.
Yeah, it is a challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
love
I
that
mean,
challenge.
there are some great trainings. I teach an entire hypnosis system.
Mhm.
Okay. And interestingly enough, I don't know if you looked at my website. Have you noticed I'm
Yeah,
not expensive?
what's that? I didn't hear the question.
Have you noticed I'm not expensive?
Yeah, yeah, very reasonable. Very reasonable.
Right.
I see you have trainings, plus you have the master class we didn't talk about, the free
Hmm.
master class. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, there's some, yeah, very reasonable
Yeah. And
approaches there.
what I decided to do was I wanted when when the uh, when the Society of NLP was formed in 1975, there was this crew of about 10 people, and you would recognize all of the names, and they all used
Yeah.
to and they'd all meet over at Richard Bandler's house and smoke weed and create stuff.
Mm, that
And
sounds
that
delightful. Yeah.
yeah, and he lived next door to Gregory Bateson, who was married to Margaret Mead,
Mm,
all that stuff.
mhm.
But this group of people created more books and trainings. They're still going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Those same people are still training. I was luckily I got to train with some of them.
Hmm.
Okay. But most of the people that are coming out are now training with second, third generation, whatever.
Mm.
And here's what's interesting. The original NLP certification was 28 days.
Oh, interesting. I was thinking it'd be months. And nowadays I know learn NLP in a weekend. And yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I know it was quite the
Yeah.
process before.
So
Yeah.
imagine that you have enough time, you have enough money, you have enough energy
Mm,
that you can take off for 28 days and go through this training.
hmm.
When you get out, your DNA is going to be completely different.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then they got bored with that. They cut it down to 24 days. And then they got tired of teaching it and they go, does anybody want to teach this? And this
Mm.
guy, maybe you've heard of him, Anthony Robbins.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Heard of
Yeah,
that
it
guy?
kind of rings a bell. Yeah.
Tall guy, big teeth.
Yeah, like a deep gravelly voice, maybe.
Yeah, that one. Okay. He he took over the 24-day training and did that for months and
Mm,
months and months and months. And then when he decided that he was going to start his own gig, actually he was with Bandler and Grinder when they first started doing it, and they would do all of this training, and then they bring this guy in to integrate it.
mm,
And that guy was Dave Dobson.
mm. That's
Because
wonderful. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so it's
wonderful.
all of these people, you know. I never got to train with Steve Andreas, but he and I unintentionally were working on the same client. And I found out that she was working with him, and I just picked up the phone and I'm like, okay, this is what and he and
Mm,
I worked on this one person together. So
mm.
that's my Steve Andreas story.
Yeah, that's a rare treat in itself.
Yeah, but like when I took the NLP health certification, I got to train with Tim and
Mm,
Kris Hallbom, Suzi Smith, uh, uh, Robert Dilts,
yeah.
and then of course they started bringing in Steven Gilligan
Mm,
and I'm trying to think of his name, Nick LeForce.
mm.
I got to train with Nick LeForce. He is a scream. If you ever get a chance to train with him, he is so fun.
Oh, nice. I'll write that down. I love that you train with all these people and you make yourself affordable for people for the next generation.
Well, I decided to do that. I mean, I've only been married 5 years. My lovely bride and I are a COVID couple.
Mm, hmm
In which that we literally had just started dating when COVID came.
mm,
And, you know, this was serious stuff. And they were talking about shutting the whole country down.
right.
And because I do what I do, I had a, you know, a bus pass, you know, because we're in healthcare.
hmm
Okay. But she's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to travel or any of that. And I go, okay, well, why don't you just stay over here? So she got her stuff, brought her computer, and a year and a half later, she still liked me.
Yeah, I feel COVID broke up some couples and made some couples.
Yeah. So we decided to get married, and I
hmm
left Dallas and moved to Fort Worth, which is where I'm at. And it's just like a really interesting thing. But what I was saying is that when I met her, I was kind of semi-retired. I had a few clients and I would do some videos every now and then. I had no products whatsoever, no books
hmm
whatsoever. And we got married, and she she is a wheel at the company that she works for. She works a lot. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, I need to do something. I know I'll start my business back up.
Yeah. Or
And
go back to golfing.
yeah, or go, yeah, that. And well, and so I just started doing that, and in this process I've written, I think I have uh 12 15-ish books, and I have I've done some courses and stuff like and I've been teaching courses for about 3 years. And because I don't need to make my Porsche payments,
hmm
I decided, you know, okay, if you take a practitioner's NLP training, okay, you're looking at 2,500, depending
hmm
on where you go,
hmm
okay, 2,500 up to $5,000.
hmm
Okay. And it may have come down, you know, let's say it's 1,200. Okay. That's one, you know,
Right. The first
and you
level.
don't, and you don't know anything.
Right. Then you gotta
Right.
work your way up and then eventually
Right.
master and yep.
Right. So I created a advanced hypnosis course.
Mm,
Okay. And that's for people that have gone through a hypnosis certification, or they have a nodding understanding of what hypnosis is. And I teach them how to conduct a hypnosis session and I teach them how to build a business. That's one course that I teach. Then I have the Lost Secrets, Ericksonian Alchemy,
Mm,
the Forbidden Hypnosis, which is actually covert hypnosis one and two.
mm.
And each one of those, if you're in the club, and I'll tell you how to get I'll tell you how to get in the club. It's
In
easy.
the club.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. But if you're in the club, it's 300 bucks. 300 bucks a course.
Much
Okay.
cheaper than 2,500.
Yeah, for one course.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the end of approximately 2 years, you have what is the equivalent of an Ericksonian hypnosis certification.
Mm,
I actually don't certify anybody. Yeah, I guess I could, but it just like,
yeah.
I've literally got a stack. I just had my office tiled, so my
Mm.
office is in disarray and stuff. And I literally have a stack of certifications, and I think my doctorate diploma is, yeah, they're over there. They're over there in
Somewhere.
a
Yeah.
pile.
In the
Yeah,
pile. Yeah.
yeah, I have them.
Yeah.
I just no, people don't really care unless you can't do the work.
Right. Exactly. They care about the results.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, that's what I decided to do is I wanted to create a new wild bunch
Mm,
and train people up. And where I was going with that 28-day stuff, when they did the when they did the original NLP, they taught Erickson, they taught Virginia Satir, they
mm,
taught uh Noam Chomsky is not a hypnotherapist, but they taught Noam Chomsky
mm,
thought patterns. They
mm,
taught Bateson thought pattern. Bateson's the one who came up with the double bind.
mm.
And they taught all of this information, and that group, when they split up, they all had the things that they were really, really interested in. Okay. Core belief change and language patterns. That was the Andreas's.
Mm.
Okay. Uh, what's his name? Something Gordon. Anyway, he's the one who basically does modeling over here.
Mhm.
Bandler did this. Grinder went into business. Steven Gilligan broke completely away from NLP and wrote his book, The Courage to Love, and that is what has become his generative trance training.
Mm.
Okay, so I don't know about you, but that's cool.
That is really cool.
It's cool. So what I want to do is I want to create a core group, a new wild bunch
Yep.
and empower them to go and fly higher than I ever dreamed.
That's beautiful. And so we'll leave it at the secret sauce here. How do people get into the club you mentioned?
Okay, the secret club is you need to join my mastermind. It's free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So all I have to do is send me an email. I'll put them on the email list. That'll give them the link. We do a mastermind. Okay. And I do it at 12 o'clock during the day. A lot of people are working. Okay. So I might have somewhere between 3 and 12 people,
Hmm.
but I got an email list of about 300 people that I send,
Right.
all the videos. If you see my social media, you'll see clips,
Yep.
but you don't get the video.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
If
they
you're
join the mailing list, they get the videos, they get access. So they get access to the mastermind and also the videos of previous
right,
masterminds.
right. And because they're now in the club,
Yep.
the cost for their training or for courses is 300 bucks. If you're if you're Joe Bob or Betty Lou and I don't know you and I put out stuff, those courses run between 495 or
Hmm.
497 and 697, which is still cheaper than most trainings.
Right. Right.
And of course, and it's kind of interesting. Once you attend one of my courses, when I repeat that course, you can attend for free.
Oh, great. Great. That's
Okay.
wonderful. Yeah.
If you did the Ericksonian alchemy, and I'm going to do the Erickson alchemy in January, uh, if you've attended, just come join for free.
Come back for a refresh.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Top
Okay.
off. Yeah, that sounds great.
Uh-huh.
And we'll definitely include all the links that you mentioned in the description here. And
Has it been
before,
an hour already? Oh my.
yeah, like time distortion, right? So to leave it off, to top it off, I like to ask people, what's something that bubbles up in you now that if the whole world was listening, what would you like them to know?
That actually did a video on this.
Mm,
And it's twofold. Number one, I believe that hypnosis is the best kept secret for change that has ever been invented. And we could wax philosophical about
mm,
different rituals and even ritual tattoo as hypnosis.
mm,
But the other thing that I would tell people is I really wish I had a video of who I was before hypnosis
mm.
because hypnosis literally has saved my life.
Amen. Amen. It's like when
Okay.
you're losing weight, you want that before picture.
Uh-huh.
And with hypnosis, it's the same thing. Like it manifests in the body.
Oh, here's something interesting. Last year, I got a phone call. I know we're running over. Do you care?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sure. Yeah,
Okay.
this is value for the
Last year, I'm
listeners.
driving down. I'm headed off to go see one of those two clients that I told you I can't shake them.
Mm.
I'm gonna have to die before they stop. Okay. All right. So I'm driving down the road. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, and my phone rings, which is unusual. Okay. And hello, and
Mm,
it's my doctor because I had just done a blood test, and my doctor's on the phone, and she's like, "Did you know how you have diabetes?"
mm,
No. Did you know your blood sugar is 441?
mm.
No. Is that bad?
Yeah,
And she
yeah.
goes, "Oh yeah, and your A1C is 13.2." She goes, "But I got a question for you." And
Mm.
I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Why aren't you in the hospital on an IV drip?"
Yeah.
Okay. And I was like, I don't know, clean living, whatever. And I immediately got to work. I changed everything
Mm,
in my life, food wise, activity wise, etc.
mhm,
Within 3 months, my blood sugar was down to 5.6.
mm,
3 more months, my blood sugar was down to 5.1.
mm.
Or not 5 point, that's my A1C. No,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was the
yeah.
A1C. My blood sugars run between 90 and 108, which my endocrinologist doesn't like, but it's like, dude, it's like that every single day.
Mm,
Okay. And I also know that they changed the numbers, 20 years ago, if your blood sugar was below 130, you were fine. So they
right.
just changed the numbers. But I just came back from getting a blood test with my endocrinologist, and everything is 100% normal.
Mm,
And I credit hypnosis because every single day I would do self-hypnosis.
mm,
I told my liver that it needed to,
mm,
regenerate. I told my pancreas that it needed to start producing beta cells and stuff. But the other thing that's interesting, and I really hope that your listeners get this, the primary focus of my self-hypnosis was eliminating any bitterness in my life. If you think
Mm,
metaphorically, because we were talking about hypnotic phenomena,
yeah.
metaphorically, type 2 diabetes is your inability to accept what? Sugar,
Mm,
sweetness. What is the opposite of sweetness? Bitterness.
mm,
So I did that, I did that, and now everything's groovy. I'm putting weight back on,
mm,
and I feel good. And this year, I didn't ever wear glasses before that happened.
mm.
Okay, so this year my goal is to correct my eyesight, and we can have another conversation
I
about
was going to
that.
say
Bet.
this goes deep because that's fascinating to me. That's kind of what I'm here for. Like I work during
Yeah.
the day at the VA at the blind center, and there's some
Uh-huh.
type of blindness where you can't. It is a mental thing versus the eye
Uh-huh.
anatomy. So it's interesting. I like how you talk to your body and you talk about those negative patterns. And we talked about idiomotor signals. And that's when I installed in myself is if my mind has a negative pattern, then alert me. And so my finger will
Uh-huh.
twitch. And then
Uh-huh.
that's a fun way to do it.
Yeah. Oh, you know, it would also be, if you'll add one more thing to that,
Yeah.
automatic writing.
What do you mean?
Are you familiar with the hypnotic phenomena called automatic writing?
No, it's funny you say
Okay.
that though, because I had a theory about how in like graphology you can work and program the subconscious through your writing.
Uh-huh. Okay. So you've already given yourself an ideomotor signal. So when something's going on,
Hmm.
are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed, and the ideomotor
Okay.
is on the left.
Right. Okay. So at the end of the day, or in the first thing in the morning, grab a pen and with your left hand, put yourself in trance, and with your
Yeah.
left hand, have it write down or draw a picture of whatever that negative thing is
Mm,
so you can work on it.
beautiful. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, we totally need to do another one because this is getting into the realm of where I really like to work. Somebody comes in, they got their big happy face, hey, nothing to
Yeah.
see here.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you reach out, energetically, or you reach out verbally with
Right.
them. And there's a part of them, so you got the mask here. There's a part of them that goes and then
Yeah,
ducks back.
exactly. Yeah,
That's
it's
the
like the
one I want.
subconscious is
That's the one I
listening.
want to talk to. Yeah.
It's the ego stuff that, okay, let's get the ego stuff out of the way and let's deal with that deeper stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good
This
idea.
is
We could leave this at a cliffhanger. So you mentioned you're working on your eyes. And then, so yeah, it'll give me time to read more of your books. And so yeah, let's definitely do a part two. And then checking on the eyes. I'm working on implementing things for my exercise as well as selling insurance of all things. I'm playing with
okay.
that. Yeah.
No worries.
So let's come
So
back and reconvene.
Th- This week is my last class of the first book. And then I'm going to take a month
Mm,
off. Okay. And why don't you seriously consider coming to the nonverbals course?
mm, yeah. Yeah. And then for me or anyone else listening, when is the nonverbals course
Let me look at my calendar. Hold on.
yeah.
Okay.
So anyone
It's the
listening,
it's the ninth, and I'm going to take 4 weeks off, 16th, 23rd, 30th, 6th. It's going to start on May. That's not May. What is that? It's going to start on June 13th.
cool. All right, June 13th. I'm
And
writing it down. And
you already know
again,
the club, right?
yep, I'm gonna sign up for the club. And anyone listening, I hope you sign up for the club and we'll maybe meet each
Yeah.
other live in the
So,
mastermind.
so if they want to get a hold of me, just go to drmichaelharris.com and you can, and you can find, send me an email. I do a free 30-minute consultation with people. Send me an email. And if you type in Dr. Michael Harris on Google and you
Mhm.
can't find me, you're not looking.
Yeah. And it'll be
This is a
easy enough. They could just scroll down and click the link and that'll make it easy.
Yeah,
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Doctor. I'm looking forward to our next chat together when
excellent.
miracles will happen.
Outstanding. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
I'll talk to you soon.